Hey guys, welcome to Traders Academy. First, let me say we're not financial advisors, and anything we say, is just for informational purposes. You should always consult with your financial advisor and do your own due diligence. So today we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of trades that we made. One was PERI, P-E-R-I. AMRS and RKT. So let's start with PERI. So PERI was moving off of an earnings report today. Let's see. And I got long on PERI at 10:07 a.m. at $26.27. So I got long right in this area. Let me see. Let me put in my entry. Right in that area is where I got long. But let's talk about what I saw. So right here, the stock extends, puts in the initial morning high. Okay, put in the initial morning high right there. This is our initial morning high, and so I jotted a line right there to that's going to be resistance. So when the stock pulled back, this is going to act as resistance. So I entered the stock right here, and I know it was really close to resistance area. But what I also saw was when the stock pulled back, it touched this trade line, and it found support right at that trade line. So then we're having a trade line VWAP cross happening right here. So I was expecting this cross to take effect and then see an increase in volume and push the stock higher. Okay. Also, we were kind of getting an ascending triangle there on the 3-minute. So I take my entry right here, and the stock gets the trade line VWAP cross, and we get our increase in volume right here. So I take some profits. Took some profits, $27.20 at 10:28 a.m. So my first take profit is right there. That's my first take profit. And then the stock pulls back, touches VWAP, consolidates, but then it starts to put in a bit of a triangle above the initial morning high. This is another bullish setup. So then I alerted on the channel and said PERI triangle above initial morning high, would like to see a high volume breakout on this to see continuation, and we got that. We got what I was expecting on it. We got the breakout. Unfortunately, it did not occur with a high volume on it. You can see the volume. If you look at the volume profile during the consolidation, it was going down. Right here in the breakout, it was actually still kind of going down. So we never did get the actual volume that I'd like to see. I wanted to see the volume kind of do this. Now it did go higher here, but this is after the breakout. I wanted to see it right during the breakout. But nonetheless, the stock went up. Made a new high right here. And I should have took profits there. I did not, and of course, then after that, I was expecting the stock to go higher, and but then, I sold off. I sold out whenever it did not. This was a mistake on my part on this trade. It was just a mistake I made on there. I've said it before. We're all human. I make mistakes too. So, but yeah. So I got out of PERI at $27.02 at 2:03 p.m. Let's see, somewhere around here yeah, right there. It's actually, so that is my exit. And the reason I exited the stock right here is because, you know, it was, I mean, it was breaking down. I mean, it had done got below the trade line, several candles below the trade line. My entry was right in this level. You know, I did not want to sell this for a loss. After it, you know, it pushed up, it failed to, you know, to have continuation, low volume right here. I said, well, this is not going to hold up. I mean, I could have held the VWAP, but I wasn't expecting it to hold, you know, to hold the VWAP area. And of course it did not. You know, it just continued to sell off the rest of the day. Okay, so that was PERI. Now let's look at AMRS. Okay, so AMRS also was earnings today. I said AMRS had earnings today, looking for a pullback into the $19.50 area. This was at 11:05 a.m. So let me zoom in. This was right, I think, on this candle. Yeah, right on this candle. I missed this move. You know, it wasn't on my radar at the time. This would have been a great, you know, entry if I'd have been watching it. You know, we put in our high, and the stock was kind of, you know, forming a, you know, a bull flag there. But besides all that, I don't know what the fibs were, but I'm sure that they line up with something. Yeah. So, you know, this would have been a great entry because stock pushes up, pulls back, holds VWAP, not only VWAP, holds the trade line. We'll get the trade line VWAP cross, get a slight increase in volume there, comes up, tests the initial morning high, pulls back. You know, this is our initial morning high on this stock. Pulls back, consolidates above VWAP, holding the trade line, but it's also holding above the 23.6 fib. Okay, so those are, you know, those are three things that are lining up right there: trade line, VWAP, and 23.6 fib. So you could have entered a position here on this consolidation, and if you wanted to be conservative, you could enter tier 1. You know, you could enter tier 1 and then add tier 2 on the breakout of this triangle here, you know, on the breakout of this descending line. So, but again, I was not there for that part of the trade, so let's go back to where I actually did enter this trade. Let me just take that off for now. Okay, so 11:05. So I said I wanted to pull back to the 1950 area. Why the 1950? Well, you know, again, let's put a line at the initial morning high. This is the initial morning high area, and you can see this was resistance, 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 resistance. You know, when it pulled back slightly, not, I mean, I guess, you know, I mean, you can say that was a little resistance, but anyway, we had resistance here and resistance right here. Okay, so what is that level? It's 1952. I mean, so 1950 area. You know, the actual initial morning high was 1965. So, you know, 1950 area. So that's why I wanted to pull back into that area, and so I said, you know, looking for the pullback into the 1950 area. So at 11:12 a.m. I got long at $19.91. Let's see, I think it might have been, no, it was on this candle, I believe, this one right here. 11:15, 11:12. It was on this candle. Okay, so I got long right there. That is where I got long. And let me put a oval instead. Yeah, so that's where I got long on this trade. You know, it pulled back into this level, and it held. It held above this prior high, which was the initial morning high. Trade line is also there. We might can draw out our fibs. I don't remember if it also had a Fibonacci level there, but I think it, yeah. So yeah, I mean, we had our 23.6 fib pretty much lining up with that area as well. 23.6 fib was at 1932. So that took my entry, and AMRS took some profits, $20.44 at 11:19. I believe it was on this candle. Yep, that was that candle. So it took some. Why aren't you drawing it? Took some profits right there. New high day. AMRS took more profits, $21.57 at 11:47 a.m. Let's see. At 12:47 a.m. I'm sorry, 12:47 a.m. Yeah, 12:47 a.m. So I think it was this candle. No, it wasn't that candle. Go higher. Okay. Right there. Took second profit right there as we extended. We took my first profit, pulled back, and then extended higher. So I took my second profit right in that level. Okay, and on this one, I exited. My next take profit was near the $23 area. I took profits at 21.57. Made a new high of the day, 22.40. Again, I probably should have took some profits there, in this level. But I was expecting to, I wanted to get closer to the $23 area to take my profits. I was thinking maybe 22.80, somewhere around that level, but didn't reach that level, and pulled back, and so I exited at $21.15 at 2:45 p.m. See, 2:45 p.m. There. That was my final take profit. So that is where I exited, my trade. Again, it was a profitable trade. My entry was over here, so this was still a profitable trade. Could have cut it loose sooner, but I was hoping it would hold the 15-minute. I believe the 15-minute. I think we go to 15-minute. Yeah, it was right in this area. So I was hoping that it would hold the 15-minute, but once I saw it wasn't going to hold the 15-minute, I exited my position. And but now let's look at RKT. This was a monster trade on it. We took options call on this one. Let's see, RKT. So RKT actually, it was more of an earnings play, but it also had news after hours yesterday, and said rocket companies to participate in a Morgan Stanley Technology, Media, and Telecom Virtual Conference. So let's see. Right here at 10:37 a.m. I entered. Yeah, 11:37 a.m. I entered. It's got 10:37. It's Central Time. But I entered a $35 call with April 16 expiration, and entered the call. The premium was $3.45. Okay, so let's zoom into that area. And what time was that again? 1137. I believe it was on this consolidation. It might have been this one though. 11. Yeah, it was this one. No, it was this one. 1136. Yeah, so it was this consolidation. So I was right. So this is my entry on this one. And the reason I entered this was, stock pushed up and, held the trade line right here, pushed higher on the trade line VWAP cross, but then failed to extend. So put in a resistance line right there. This was a support line that I already had charted out. So that's a resistance line. So I watched this, and I've seen this before where the stock comes up like this and the trade line just kind of chops around, just kind of chop around. So when it came down, to this level, and then I was also watching my 15-minute chart, and you can see right around this, let's see, 1137, yeah, 1130. So right here, you can see at this, this was around my entry right here. You can see it was, it held support at the trade line on the 15-minute chart. And then this, from this next candle, it pushed up. Then it came down and, was holding support again. So that 15-minute trade line was acting as support, So I said, this thing is worth a shot. I mean, and I took a April 16 expiration because, again, we go to the daily, and those are resistance lines that I have charted out on there. This was the all-time high at the time, and but when you go to the daily, this was the earnings day, and they reported good earnings. So, and it sold off on earnings day, and then it pushed up, yesterday. So then we had this big gap up, so I was expecting this, this thing has a good short interest in it, so I was expecting it to make a move. Of course, I did not expect to make this big of a move, but nonetheless, I took it. But that's why I took that trade. And I said, well, even if it just, consolidates, even if it just consolidates all day today, it's gonna, I was expecting it to make a push higher tomorrow or the next day. So but that's why I took a far out expiration, because I did not want, my options contracts, the premium to go down too fast while I was waiting for the move to happen. But anyway, so took the trade there, and this again, the stock just consolidated, just chopped around, during that time. Let's see, but then of course, then we get our extension right here. Then we get a move. John Ajarian from CNBC started talking about the stock. I believe it was John Ajarian, maybe it was Pete, but I think it was John. Started talking about the stock, and it got a boost. And but not only that, according to the Bazinga newsfeed, Wall Street Bets, they also got behind the stock, and it just, we got this, this huge move off of it, off of all that went on. So I took some profits on RKT at 12:52 a.m. 12:52 p.m. It's at $5.20. It was a 45% gain. Let's see. So yeah, right here. Yeah, right there on that third. Took some profits right there, and that was a 45% gain on those option contracts. And let's see, let me zoom in a little bit there. If I'd have known it was going to do that big of a move, I would have held on to some all my contracts, but there was no way for me to know that. So once I had good profit, I had to secure some profit. But after that, I was like, man, I'm gonna hold on to some more longer. Then at 1:01 p.m. I said the calls are up 86% now. If you want to secure at 1:11 p.m. calls are up over 100%. Do not get greedy if you haven't taken any profits, in my opinion. So I think it was around this. Yeah, it was around this level right here. Then we made a new all-time high, 34.79. Calls up over 200%. Take profits when you are happy. And so at 2 p.m. I got all out for $11.50 for over 230% gain on those calls. This was at 2 p.m. I think, yeah, I see right there. So yeah, so I got out right there, because I mean, after we made this huge extension, I said I'm getting all out, because I mean, after that big move, you're gonna have a pullback. I mean, you're bound to have a pullback. I left a little bit of money there on the table. I mean, the call still moved up, I think another $2 in the premium after that, but nonetheless, I mean, I made very good profits from my entry here to there. And on the stock, it doesn't seem like much, but that was a huge move. And even if you'd have just traded the stock, if you'd have got long the stock right here, I mean, you could have made some really good money. I mean, this is let's see, 29. The stock was trading around 29.40, and right here it's at 39.90, so $40. So yeah, I mean, that's a huge move on the stock itself. So I mean, you don't necessarily have to take calls. When I do take calls, the stock is a safer entry. You just I take some calls sometimes because I want more profit potential, but of course with more profit potential comes more risk. So, but yeah, so I got out right there with exited the full position, and of course then they pushed higher, and then we had a halt down, and I was gonna enter in this area right here. In fact, and then of course everything started moving. IMH, Sympathy moved to RKT, BYFC, CARV. Let's see. Trying to look for. Yeah. So RKT looking for a pullback into the prior all-time high, which was 34.50 area. I alerted this at 2:16 p.m. So if you go to the daily chart, you can see that the prior all-time high was 34.42. But you can see right here, this was on the daily, I mean on the intraday chart, this was a resistance level right there. Let me zoom in a little more. So right here was a resistance level. It was around 34.85, but 34.40 something, 34, what was that, 34.42 was the prior all-time high. So give or take about 34.50, pull back into that area would have been nice. And I said I'm looking for a pullback into the prior all-time high, 34.50 area, to get long the stock. Opened up off the halt, opened up here, pushed a little bit higher, pulled back down, came down, tested this level, and put in a tail right there. Unfortunately, I had somebody that came and and brought me something at the time, and I stepped out for just a minute or two, and took a little bit longer than I was expecting, and I missed my entry here. So yeah, I mean, but I alerted about what I was planning on doing, so in case somebody wanted to do the same and enter the stock, and if somebody would have entered here, that that was a good profit potential right there. I mean, you start peeling profits on the way up, But yeah, this was a good, very good trade today. I hope some of the members caught it and made good profits off of it as well. So if you like this video, give us a like on our YouTube channel. Join our Facebook group, it's Traders Academy, and yeah, I mean, let's trade together and learn from each other. We're always learning. We're always going to be students of the markets. So yeah, let's do this, and that's it for today. Yeah, y'all have a good afternoon. Good night, actually.